Okay, so let's take a look at the humerus. So this bone is our upper arm bone, is the humerus. Several structures we want you to know on the humerus. The first is this right here, that is the head of the humerus. Next is the anatomical neck. So if you can see this kind of line right there, kind of underneath the head right there, that is the anatomical neck. But the surgical neck is essentially between my thumb and finger right there. So this area right there is the surgical neck, so that whole top part. So it's below that whole top part there. Next, we're seeing a couple of bumps here and here. So the larger one, which is right here, that is known as a greater tubercle. And then the smaller one we see right here is the lesser tubercle. So next is we come down to this rough area right here. That rough area right there, let me see if you can see it a little better here. That is the deltoid tuberosity right there. Now, it's important to note that the head of the humerus is always going to be medial. So it's on the medial side. So if we're on that same side and we look over here, we see these parts down here at the other end that stick out. So this part here, being the same side as the head, that is the medial epicondyle. And then the little part that sticks out on the other side is the lateral epicondyle. All right, let's look at other parts on this distal end of the humerus. So we have this structure right there that is known as the capitulum. And then this structure right there, right next to it, is known as the trochlea. Now, above the trochlea, we have this indentation right there. That is known as the coronoid fossa. And we look at the ulna is going to have a process sticking on it called the coronoid process. Above the capitulum right here is another little indentation, and that is known as the radial fossa, because that's where the head of the radius connects here. If I turn this over to the back side, we're seeing a much larger indentation there, and that is known as a olecranon fossa, and that's where the olecranon process of the ulna will move into. Now, to know if this is left or right, when I look at this, head is medial, this is medial, right? This can only be a left, right? Because this is the front, that deltoid tuberosity is in the front, that lesser tubercle is in the front. So this can only be a left. If I look at the other one here, so head is medial, I'm seeing that deltoid tuberosity, that lesser tubercle is in the front. This is a right on this side, this is a left on that side.